Giving doesn't make you a fool. Anyone that thinks that giving is negative is actually expecting a repayment for giving, then mentally it's so wrong. If you give money, cards, gifts to someone, and you are expecting, then be sure you are in the place of giving. Giving with no strings attached to a person you're in a relationship with makes your sense of well being soar. Giving love and affection should make you feel better and not the other way around. A happy relationship is possible, but first, we have to rid ourselves of sentiment, and our thoughts should be devoid of negative thoughts. Trust is essential in these areas too, because when you trust, you tend to give them your all and your best. A relationship is a two-way street. Even when you're dating someone who is not naturally inclined to give, your demeanor when giving should show that you're happy giving to them without strings attached, and before long, they will respond positively for the sake of well-being of the relationship. Compromise is important, and a win-win situation is the ideal outcome, but be wary of partners that try to control you. A healthy relationship will provide a solid base from which to explore the world and achieve the best you possibly can. If your relationship is keeping you small and diluting your strength, it's warning sign to take note of. There are times when our fear of being lonely is bigger than our wish for genuine happiness. As a result, we remain in relationships that don't bring out the best in us. We stay in lackluster relationships because we fear the unknown and ultimately do ourselves a huge disservice. You only have one life. Try not to waste it in a relationship that makes you miserable. Remember, communication is key in any relationship, and asking for what you want is an important part of that. You part your lips and then make audible sounds that resemble words. Truly asking for what you want in a relationship is as simple as talking to your partner. Having to ask isn't a bad thing. It doesn't mean your partner doesn't get you or doesn't care. Be direct. Don't expect your partner to pick up on your non-verbal clues. These hints are often ambiguous and easily misread. Explain your needs clearly. Once you know what you need, you can then engage the other person in a conversation, have an open discussion, and move forward. Speaking up in a relationship can feel tricky, but communication is key.
Welcome back. Yes, asking and giving wrongly in a relationship. Do you know that there are times you could ask and it's at the wrong time you're asking? Communication is key from our mini future. It's important to know that when you're in a relationship, it's not all the time you should be on the asking type. It's important to understand your partner, to know when to ask, the right time to ask, the appropriate time to ask. That's why we are here today, and that's what Family and Values want to teach you to understand. The essence of this is to enhance a foster relationship between you and your partner so that this year you will have a smooth relationship. We are not in the studio alone. We have a wonderful guest. He is a certified relationship and marriage coach. He is Olalekan Aremotobi. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
I would say Happy New Year to you because the last time we had you on the show was in December.
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah, 2023.
Thank God we're in 2024.
How time flies, right?
Yeah, thank God.
So how are the girls?
They're doing very well.
Welcome and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
Okay, today we are looking at one very interesting topic. I think most people don't really put into consideration how important this topic is. Asking and acting wrongly in a relationship. Like we are talking about timing. Most people believe once you're in a relationship, you should ask at any time. You wake up, you ask. You wake up, you need something. The first person you're thinking of is your partner. You should ask. So, what are the one or two things we should stay with when we are starting with this topic? What is your take on it?
Okay, so first, I think I want to also emphasize what you said, that is indeed a very, very important topic. Because in a relationship or marriage, knowing that you can always ask your partner is a key thing. Okay, because a relationship where a partner cannot even ask is problematic already. That's a lot of problem. So understanding that if I'm in a relationship with someone, I should be able to ask the person. That is a basic foundation that everybody must get. Now, even though you can't ask, you now need to know, okay, now I can ask. How should I ask such that I can get what I want? Or in what ways should I ask? When can I ask? You know, all those things, and then we'll consider them. I think that sometimes, maybe the issue that usually crops in sometimes is a sense of entitlement. Okay, now, like I said before, you should know that if I need anything, or whatever it is, whether it's help, whether it's finance or anything, I should be able to communicate and speak with my partner any day, anytime. Okay, that should be there. But the sense of entitlement in this case is where you feel that their own needs do not matter. Only yours matter at that point. So then that's where it gets unhealthy. Because what has shut you off at that time is you don't longer care about the person. You are now about only receiving and not giving. Yeah. And for a relationship, that has to, because a relationship where only one person is always receiving is trouble. And a relationship where only one person is always giving is a lot of trouble. So
Okay.
the balance is very important.
Let me take it this way. Apart from, relationship is encompassing your father, your mother, your friends, your colleague in the office, your partner, husband and wife and all that. Now, when can I give? How can I give? Does it have to be maybe when I'm having an anniversary, or maybe I remember something special about you, or I just feel that you've done something so good? When exactly can I say I want to give Joy something? I want to give you something. Do we have to have a close relationship before I can make that option of giving?
Oh, okay, beautiful. So I think that as long as there's already a premise, which is the environment, whether it's a marriage, whether it's workplace, whether there's already a premise. Now everybody you come in contact with has there should be a tendency that there's a possibility that they will get something from you. So you should be willing, the moment you are in the same space with people and you can establish some form of relationship, it means then that I should be able to give you something. That's like default. Now, however, people give only when it's during a special day, say birthday. Now, even that, people don't know, so who don't even care.
Don't give at
They don't
all.
give at all. But basic giving is that you give during people's birthdays, their anniversaries. They did a presentation, was great. Give them something. Every time you want to celebrate somebody, give them something. But that giving is the smallest kind of giving, because there is a reason for it. Now, we want the people that, let it be that we are people that give people even when there is no reason for them to give. Okay, just that. So say you're coming to work, and you branch somewhere, you want to buy yourself a donut. Okay, and you know that you share a table with someone. Why not buy two? There's no reason for that. I just want you. And the person asks me, why are you giving me this? I just want to give you something. Now, what that does is that it fosters relationship, because even if the person was coming to work angry, and you've given the person the donut without asking, that itself, do you get? And you find out that your working relationship gets better. Nobody hates love. Everybody responds to love. So we, as human beings, it's important that our default setting is that in whatever space I find myself, I look for what can I give this person. Sometimes, I have an habit of writing letters to people. Okay. So there are times when maybe I've gone for a training, or maybe I'm in a team or something, and sometimes I just write a note, write a letter to tell the person how good they are, how it was great to be with them on the team, and give them that. And so the time people reach me some 5-7 years after and say, I still have your letter.
I've not gotten any.
You get one.
But
I love words.
Oh, okay.
I love words.
Now let me ask this question, and I'm bringing it back to relationship. I'm talking about marriages, intimacy, and all of that. When is the right time to ask your partner? And is it right? Is it even right to ask in a relationship? Now, that's what I'm saying. I'm bringing to, in marriage, when is the right time to ask? In relationship, for those who are not yet married, you people are planning to, is it right to ask? Even if it is right, when is the time to say? Because our gender, we are the victims on the asking level.
But he said something the last time he came now. You remember?
I remember what he said. So, I'm saying this because so that they will understand. And that's why, yes, some men will say, no, once you tell a girl how is she, say, my birthday is this in my so now, break it down for us. In marriage, when is the right time to ask your spouse? And in relationship, is it right to ask?
So for relationship or marriage, blanket answer is it is right to ask. Like I said, you don't even be in a relationship with someone you can't ask for something. I'm not saying say physical things.
Okay.
Okay, you shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody you can't ask physical things, whether you are male or female. If you find it difficult that you want to ask someone something, and you have to think of it for years, plan ahead before you now come. If you are still in a relationship, then don't get married to that person.
Okay.
But if you are married already, then you need to have a conversation with your spouse and deal with whatever issues it is. Because asking should come easily to you between you and your spouse. Now, however, it's also very important to, when you are asking, that you can read the room. Okay, in the sense that, I talked about how don't ask in a way that you are focused on yourself only.
Alone.
Okay, so if, say, let me use a marriage setting, and let me use the husband and wife. So say the husband just got back from work and talked about how the presentation he did today didn't go as planned, the meeting he had today didn't go as planned, and there was a lot of traffic on the road. He's tensed, he's worried, his head is everywhere. And then, rather than pay attention to his own feeling, and then you're saying, how far the wristwatch I asked you for? There's every tendency you will not get that wristwatch or any other one after that. Do you get? So what that has happened that time is not asking. That's selfishness. That's selfishness. Okay, why? You should have paid attention to his feelings. Yes.
First. Calm
him down. But if it's not a life or death matter, you can postpone your asking to a better time. But at that time, so there's actually, but default is that I should be able to ask at any time. However, there are times when the other person is also not in a good space, and you need to read the room, be able to know, okay, this is not a good time to ask this person for this. Now, this person needs me to be the one to give them something, rather than me taking something from them as well.
Okay, so how about children to parents? How best can they ask and give to one another?
So for children to parents, now as children grow, from like 0 to maybe like 16, 18, the parents are required that all children are supposed to just be receivers, really, as per physical things.
As per physical things.
Yes, but the children, say from like when they're like from 7, even less than that actually, they should also begin to now offer emotional support
to the parents.
To the parents.
Children, how about children to parents? How best can they ask and also give to one another? At what time do we start teaching them how to give? And should they need to save a whole lot of amount of money to be able to say, "Mommy, I love you"? Okay.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I said that it's important that now one of the things about children is that children learn as they live and what they see. So if a child grows up in an environment where he or she does not see the parents exchange gift or give people externally, the tendency that child will not also learn to give, actually. So if children are going to learn to give, they must be such that they see their parents giving as well, and it's very important that happens. So let's assume that the parents have give constantly. They give to the child, child also see them give externally as well. You find out that it will almost be normal for that child to also want to give. Okay, there are times when the child will tell you, I want to give this to a friend. Okay, mention a friend's name in school. I want to give this to. Why? Because there's an attitude of giving in the family that child has grown into. Now, but at that age, they're not expected to give so much. Okay, sometimes they'll give you what you give them. in a sense.
Very little, but with lots of compassion.
Yes,
that comes
take out of it. Daddy, take out of it.
Yeah, so that itself and things like that, the parent will be able to acknowledge it and make it look like a big deal.
What about those children? Wait, what about those? Before she called for break, what about those children that no matter how the parents give, they are just on their own world. They always say that children are not the same, even though they are from the same parents. And they see their parents, but they're like, "Mommy, this one is my own. I'm not giving you." How do you help those children?
So it depends on the age range. Now, some of them eventually will grow out of it, but things like that, if you see a child that doesn't maybe naturally want to share, mention to the child. It shouldn't be, the child is still going to grow, okay? But mention to the child that it is good to give. Keep, emphasizing to that child that it is good to give. See, I gave you your purple wristwatch, and you liked it, right? So you also need to give, and then you now demonstrate, give the child something. Now go and give this to this person. Now, but at the point the child enters, say, teenagehood and all that, now, at that level and child is still not giving, then there needs to be some serious conversation as to why. Sometimes it's just fear of, I may not have enough, and then they keep it back. So there are different things that could be the reason for that.
Okay, different things that could be a reason for that giving and acting wrongly in a relationship. My question to you is, I'll still be on relationship aspect. We have some spouse that naturally don't know how to ask.
Okay.
They have that attitude. They just feel like the fear of asking and receiving a no has kept them in that position of not asking. Even in marriage, they just expect that, bring it as a surprise to them. When you give them, they appreciate it, they tell you thank you. Even when it's pressing, to walk up to you and ask, because maybe over the years they've received no. So that thing has now become a phobia. So for such partners, how do you encourage them that come out of this yourself, ask? It's important to ask. That's why sometimes we hear, is it that you don't ask or you don't need anything? They need, but they just don't want to receive a no. How do you address such a situation?
Okay, so there's the fear of that, of what if the person says no to me? But the truth is, very important for people to know that that's why there's something called a sense of security in relationship or in marriage, as it is. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the reason for that is a lack of that sense of security. Okay, what if this person tells me no? Now, we now translate that no to mean that this person doesn't care for
about
you,
you.
and that's not so. Because the truth is, you will not always have what you want. And it applies for both sides. Even men, I think quite a number of men, I think women even find it easier to ask
than men.
Than men find it easier to ask women, because of a sense of, I'm supposed to be the one to give. But you can't actually be a very good giver if you're not even a good receiver. Okay, because if you don't receive from your spouse, what you've done is that you've stopped your spouse from expressing their own self, their own giving nature as well. So you're not allowing them maximize their blessings. Okay, so men must also learn to, now, you must learn to forget, what if you say, what's the worst that can happen if you ask for something? The worst is that somebody will say no.
No.
And what will that no mean? Is it that the person has it and does not want to give you? Is that the person does not have it and doesn't want to give you? So let's assume it's the first one. The person does have it, but don't want to give you. Then you ask why. That's why it's communication. But you have this thing, why don't you want to give me? And the person would explain, oh, I don't think you need this right now. I don't think we should get this right now. Or this fund is for something else. That's communication. Now we can understand why you said no. I don't, but the issue is that people, when you get no, you build a wall because you've assumed that the reason why they said no is because they don't want me to get things. And that usually is not the case. Okay, so don't allow the fear of receiving a no stop you from asking. Just ask. If you need help, you need a financial, you need emotional, ask. Don't. I think another thing that maybe tilts more to the females is they expect that the male should, be able to, by some logic, psychological
that they should need
that they need something. Okay, and now there's a place for that for the men, but for the woman, it's best that you don't wait for him to have the intuition to get you something that you need. If you need it and you want him to get it for you, ask him. Okay? There'll be times when he will take initiative, but you don't have to assume that he will take initiative because he may never, and that thing he may never get it. Practically, you can't get it for yourself.
Okay, looking at it from a female perspective, is it wrong as a woman to ask when you want something? And if you're asking, at what point do you think you're asking wrongly? You have mentioned the circumstance, the situation that surrounds your spouse or your partner or the person or what the person is going through. So at what time can you say, but I was there, I gave you something at this particular point in time, maybe yesterday, and today again, you still want me to do this. Can't you? So at what time? Because ladies, we can ask anything. We like asking.
Yeah.
And Bible say, ask and you shall receive. So, at what point do you think you have asked for too much, and I think you should slow down a bit? And how do you, put that across to your partner in case he or she is the type that will always want to ask and ask and ask?
Okay, so I think that particularly in a relationship or marriage situation, the spouses must never let each other come to a point where they feel that they've asked too much. That's very important. Where your wife must never think that she's asking you for too much. And the husband must never feel that he's asking for too much. It's very important. Now, however, there are situations where you both are aware of the family finance, and then you just paid school fees, you just paid bills, okay, and maybe what you have left is just what you're going to run for the month for the house operations. And then somebody now comes and say, hey, so I just saw this new wig, or I just saw this new wristwatch. Can we use the remaining money to buy it? Now that is very unreasonable. Okay, so that's unreasonable because you are aware.
Demand.
It's a very unreasonable demand. Okay, you are aware of the way things are. This can be afforded. If we buy that wig or wristwatch now, how do we now? We're now under pressure to survive all those things. So they are on. But that is an unreasonable situation. And even in an unreasonable situation, the person being asked, say it's the husband that is being asked, must also now let the woman say that, babe, right now, don't make it look like she's unreasonable. Okay, in the sense that you help us see why we can't. Don't worry, you want that? We'll plan for next month, February. Rather than say, woman, do you have sense at all? Can't you see? Now, what you've done is you shut down asking. She'll most likely not ask next time, even when there's plenty. Because she has to recover from that. But even in that, let it be conversation that, babe, how can you be asking for this? By the time we use this money to buy this, how do we do this? So let's look at priority. Do you get? So it's a conversation. So she feels like she was called into that conversation and we agreed that we'll get it later. Rather than when you abuse the other person that don't you have eyes? Is this what your mates are asking for at this time of the day? Words like that shuts down the other spouse. And not just in asking, in other areas of life. Okay, in communicating with you as a husband or as a wife, it just shuts them down and creates a distance between the spouse. So even when your spouse is asking for something unreasonably, you must also now reasonably communicate to them that this demand cannot be met.
Okay, that's the issue of marriage. Now, for those in relationship, you've heard a lot when men will say women are too demanding. I left this girl because she was too demanding. And sometimes, when you ask some men, why not me? No, ladies are too demanding. And sometimes I try to digest that word, demanding. What's the demand that is so much that is making you take a walk out of a relationship? Now, you just address the issue of those in marriage. How do you address the issue of those in a relationship? Now, you truly love this girl, but because she's bringing today, like what Olori said, today she's demanding for a 5,000 to do nails. Tomorrow she's telling you she wants to go to the beach, and you've discovered that in that week, the demand, the money you've actually spent on her is more. And you're thinking in your brain, like, if I continue like this, that means now the fear is when we get into marriage, she will do more.
Of course.
So now, how do you address that situation so that the young men out there will not run away from ladies because they are over demanding? And tell the ladies, when you're not married to this person, these are the times to also ask so that you don't ask wrongly.
Yeah. So so let's start from the first one. Okay, for the men. Now, if any man says that he's not getting married or is stepping up a relationship because the lady is demanding,
there are plenty out there.
Or because some are even not in relationship
generation, the ladies are always demanding.
Okay, so
respect, apologies are also part of the demands.
Okay, so I now really, I think that men. Now, for men, I believe that when you truly love a woman, okay, and now circumstances like how did you both meet? How did you both meet? Where did you meet? Will affect factors like how she asks. Because why should she knows that your salary is about 300,000 naira, and she has a list for you of about 250k.
At the end of the month, presented to you.
Not even one time.
No, you don't.
January 1st, okay, I need to go and make my hair, maybe like 100 to 120k. That's even spreading very minimally. Okay, maybe some 50k for one really nice bag, some under 50k for a shoe, and that's not plenty. I mean, I just want to go to the beach, hang out with my friends, under 50k somewhere there.
Wow.
And she's aware that you are earning about 300k. Now, you should leave that woman. Okay, because what it means is, now there are two ways, but first is, your first default might be that I want to leave this person. Why? Because a woman should be resourceful. A woman worth marrying should be resourceful, not wasteful.
That is
So if you are with someone that's already wasteful, being aware, now if she does not know, it's a different ballgame. Maybe she think, maybe you're acting like you're a millionaire.
You're
And so she's like, I'm mega again.
You get.
Yes. If she does not know, it's a different ballgame. But she knows how much you're earning and she's doing that, then you might need to want to check it. So if you so love her, you don't want to run, you don't want to leave her, sit her down and talk about it. Babe, I heard this, you're asking this, can we reduce this? If she does, good. If she doesn't, then you are better run away. Because the truth is, you will not build anything in your life. Yes. So that's very important. So I'm going to come back to, but let me still say for the women. I think women, ladies in particular, must realize that they should be very resourceful people. You know, people that, because the truth is, when you look at the percentage of men that are born with silver spoons, that have made things out of their own life, that they are now millionaires, okay, when you compare as percentage, the percentage that are still putting their life together, is the gap is wide.
High,
So there's a possibility, there's a high possibility that the person you will meet is better like still putting his life together. Now you can't lay a demand of your future, of the kind of life you want to spend tomorrow on him now, when he's also trying to build that life now. Okay, the things that, sometimes people say that, sometimes it sounds harsh, but it's the truth. Because some people say that the things that you could not demand from your father, you're now placing a demand on this young man that's also putting his life together.
Not considering him.
So that's not considered at all. That kind of woman is not worth marrying.
Oh my God.
Because she cannot build a home. And it's not even, because the truth is, even when it's plenty, she'll still waste it. When the guy now has millions, she will still be a spendthrift. She will not be someone that will think about investments. She's about today. Let us spend today. Let us enjoy it today. So a man should not marry that kind of person. Okay, but there are situations where sometimes a man, you want to marry someone. Maybe you guys met somewhere, but maybe she lives. Allow me to use the word level, in sense that maybe the class she probably grew up with is a higher class than your class. Okay, and then of course it's expected that that kind of lady, maybe all her life, she has never asked for 1 naira. She always has a fund somewhere in her account, deposited by her father. It's expected that that kind of lady will not come and ask you for 120k. Okay, because all her life, if she wants to make A, is 500k.
You know?
So there's a tendency that when she comes to you, she's asking you for 500k in that regard. Now, if you think that, okay, now that is not being wasteful. That is that this is the life she has lived all her life. Yes. It's from those that you've always been struggling yourself. Now you see guy, you want to use as cash out.
So how do you manage
now in that situation, you also want to consider, yes, you've lived all your life as a millionaire, but you want to marry me, or we are thinking of getting married. But I am not a millionaire. Okay. Now there are two things. One, she most likely is someone that also will not be quick to want to ask. If she's cultured, because some people are not cultured, they also want to now lay the same demand on you as well. But even in her being cultured, she also wants to be sure that you can take care of her. So there will be times that she might ask you things that looks unreasonable. In that case, that man, he must use that as a springboard for himself. Okay, it must be that it must ginger you to want to make more for yourself. And one of the signs you used to realize that this woman makes sense for me is that she also supports your growth consciously and actively. Okay, she's looking for opportunities for you. She's introducing you and all that. Now that is somebody that is interested in your growth. So when she's asking for something huge, you want to do it for her. Yeah. Because you know that this person is already gingering me to also be able to earn at this level. Particularly I say to my people as well that if your wife or children are asking for, are demanding for things, rather than say that they are demanding for too much, let it be a ginger for you that I want to make more money so that I can meet their
all their
needs.
needs.
That should be, so it's not pressure, but it's just that, because I think that every man should want to give the best things to his wife and
To his
kids.
wife and kids.
So his thought must always be that if my wife is asking for this at this time, then I should be able to, what else can I do? How can I get better? How can I earn more such that I can also provide a lot more for my wife and children as well? So when we're in a relationship, you must consider these things. Is this person a wasteful person? Is this person a resourceful person? And like I said, it's not about plenty or little. A resourceful person will always find a way to multiply what is given. But a wasteful person would decline, would reduce what is available.
Okay.
That's a huge difference.
I want to ask, you cannot overlook intimacy when it comes to giving and asking. Okay, we have discussed some topics in church, and I'm sure many watching at home too will tap into what I'm about to ask. Intimacy. Some men have decided to put it together and say, because you want something from me, you tend to wait till the time we need to come together, the other room.
Wow,
And you
okay.
now refuse because I have left it undone. Maybe your demands have not been able to meet with it. And so you now deprive me of the intimacy that is supposed to be between husband and wife. What do you have to say to this? Is it right to, I asked for this, you did not give me, so why are you touching me? Please don't touch me. When it comes to the time the husband and the wife are supposed to. So what's your view about this? And have you ever treated something in that regard before?
Yeah, so it's very important that couples do not use intimacy as a bargaining chip. Because that's what it has become. That's become trade by barter. Okay, I'm intimate with you, then you give me this. Okay, that is a huge flaw in that marriage already. And even when that whatever it is that was asked is given, truth is you have broken something in your marriage already that will begin to eventually you realize it down the line. So never use intimacy with your spouse as a bargaining chip of if you do this for me, then you can touch me. If you don't do this, then you cannot. Intimacy must never be on the table of do this, I do this. Why? Because intimacy is one of the ways that couples can bond and can grow together and can become like each other. Okay, so the moment you take it from, you start using it as a bargaining chip, it loses its essence. Okay, because at that point, what happens is the husband is no longer thinking of the wife's satisfaction. The wife is no longer thinking of the husband's satisfaction because it's not a business transaction at that point. And it's dangerous to marriage, it's dangerous to their relationship as a couple. I think they're not careful. That singular thing can break that marriage.
Okay, I want to bring it from this angle. Now, let me give you a scenario of a young lady that is trying to fix her life together. She has a lot she needs to fix in her life that needs financial demand. And she has not gotten to that level where she can do those things. And then she meets a young man who is also on that
Journey?
On that journey too. Now they've been in a relationship 1 month, 2 months. Now she's thinking of, I want to bring my financial burden to this person. Now, at what time would you say, you know what, if I were to be this lady, I would hold on to this now, because she's going through a lot of pressure trying to fix those things by herself. And this man too is trying to fix his own life. So how for those people, when can you say, okay, I think you've been so long in a relationship too. If the man is not the type that is sensitive enough to say, okay, let me give. And she is feeling like, I don't want to ask, and let him feel like you've brought your whole village family problem to me. So how do you address such a situation and giving balance to both sides?
Makes sense. So I think particularly for maybe young men, okay, of my generation and the one after, it's very important to know that if you have chosen to be with a lady because it was you that chose to ask her out, okay, she was working somewhere on her own, you say you like the girl, you asked her, she said yes to you.
That's what
okay. So it's important that Now, you've done that, and she has said yes to you. You should know that that means even though you're not married yet, you must take some level of responsibility for her. Okay. So if somebody that is still in school, okay, maybe you're just out of school and you're working, but you're not in so much yet, but she's still in school, it's expected that okay, she will need some things. Now, let's assume that her parents are not very well to do, and they're struggling. Maybe she's even having to do multiple jobs in school to be able to run herself through school. Now, it's just wisdom and true sense of concern that every time you earn, every time you get a salary or something, you take a portion and give to her without her asking, because you know she needs it. Okay, so it's shocking when people are in a relationship and both of them don't know needs they have, particularly major needs. Then they are not in a relationship; they're just playing. Because a relationship is that we're able to help each other and carry our burdens. Now, if the girl is such that her parents can take care of her school and all that, now, yes, you're not giving her money. You're using money because the truth is, the money runs the world in code. There's nothing you want to do that you don't require money. And money is a huge sign of, I am invested in this. So, the girl is in school, her parents take care of her school fees and everything she needs. There's nothing wrong still in saying, babe, I don't want to send you 30K. What for? Just use for anything you want to use for. That itself is care and concern.
And it's making you responsible.
It's making you a responsible person. I tell girls that if you're in a relationship and it's with a guy that doesn't give you things now, it's always hiding his wallet from you. You better run away. It will not, when you are married, the same thing would happen. Okay, so if you're in a relationship, a guy should, because a guy would always spend in the direction of his heart. So if he loves you, he wants to. He wants saying that guy, I beg, don't give me gift
don't
again.
Give me, I'm done. I'm done.
If you are giving me this, how did you now spend this? How did you sort this for yourself? You must get to that point. But if a guy is always I don't have today, you see now, and he has not, like I said, it's not in the magnitude of what this. Even if it's 5K, babe, I just ordered from these people to send you this.
Wow.
Do you get?
This
small things, all those basic things,
big ballers.
All those, because the issue is this: is in the small things that you know, if a person has big money, will he treat me like this as well? Right. So if he can't buy you the 10 maybe it's 100 naira now, Bolly or something,
you know,
okay?
Something.
If he can't buy that for you, you're walking on the road, say, babe, let me buy you Bolly. He won't buy that for you. He will not buy you a 2.5 parfait. And says, don't worry, babe. When I have money, I'll take you around the world. He will not take you anywhere. He will not take you anywhere.
So you're not going anywhere.
So in that scenario, both of them must know that, okay, we are trying to build something together, and we must be able to support ourselves. So even times when it's maybe 1 month, it's the girl that has more money than the guy, you support him as well. Times when it's the guy that has more, you support. That is a relationship. These days, I don't understand what we are doing. It's like we are doing more of a business transaction than a relationship.
More like trade and barter. And then sometimes you see that in this generation, I've seen that the guys are the one placing the more demands on the ladies.
They
are the ones doing the more asking. And
yes, you know, they do that because they know ladies will always want to ask.
Yeah,
so before you ask me, I'll be the first to do that. But I want to tell you with what you just said, I think you have your parting words already, your final words. Okay. You have that?
Well, if you want me to go ahead with that. Okay, so what I want to say is, asking and giving. If you are going to be in a relationship, make sure you are comfortable enough to ask. And when you are asked and you don't have it, you must also be reasonable in how you let your partner know that this need cannot be met at this time. For those who are married, asking must be regular for you. You must learn to ask your spouse, because the moment you stop asking your spouse, the moment you guys stop connecting as a couple. And then generally, if you're going to get into a relationship or marry, make sure you are, as a man, as a girl or lady, make sure you are marrying a man that is quick to want to give you things. As a lady, make sure, as a guy, make sure you are marrying a lady that shows elements of being very resourceful. When you do that, you're going to have a wonderful marriage and relationship.
You know, I picked something. A guy will always spend in the direction of his heart. Those people are the big ballers in town. Forget. It doesn't have to be billionaire or millionaire. See, with your giving and them walking in the direction of their heart means that something is being deposited in you. And also, it comes from the generosity of such a man. You yourself will not even want to ask more than necessary. You will not need to go to Yahoo Plus or whatever, that will break the wallet of that guy. I want to say a big thank you for
Thank you very
coming
much
this
for
morning.
coming on
Thank
the
you
show.
for your contribution.